Hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Just going to give Facebook a moment or two to let you know I'm here for a goddess chat. So excited. Let me know as you're joining if you can see and hear me. Let me know where you're watching from. And if you're catching the replay, definitely drop replay below. My name is Leah DeLuzio, and I am the owner and founder of Her Sacred Circle. Hi, Tammy. Good morning. I am also lucky enough to be the admin of this amazing community that would not exist without all of you choosing to show up here with intention and giving attention to this community. It just continues to blow my mind what I witness in this community outside of what I'm sharing. I mean, the support you all have for each other, the way you inspire and educate, it's absolutely beautiful. So just honoring all of you. Hello, Tia. Hello, Allison. Yes. Let me know where you're watching from. I know a couple of you are local here where I am in the Myrtle Beach, South Carolina area. I see Tia's with us from Jacksonville. You're in Jacksonville now. Yes, yes. Hello, hello. Another one from Myrtle Beach. Lady Stone Queen. I love that. I love that. So a goddess chat. Let me just, while we wait on Tearsha to join us, a goddess chat is something that I decided to do because this is an amazing community with really inspiring women that show up here on the daily and support each other. And so I wanted to serve as a bridge to bring forth awareness about the medicine that so many of you are here sharing with the world. So I created Goddess Chats, and it's once or twice a month. I hop on here and do a Facebook Live, bring on a guest, and we just have a conversation. Hi, Stephanie. We have a conversation about that specific woman and what she's here sharing with the world. So today's guest is going to be Tearsha Wilder. I am so excited. Okay, she's saying she doesn't get the invite. Okay. Hi, Morgan. Hi, Stephanie. Let's see. Hi, Teresa. Yes. So many of you are here. Let me know how you're feeling today. How are you feeling on this Saturday? If you aren't aware, I was away for, hi, Morgan, for a couple of weeks. So I pre-scheduled some stuff in the group, but I've been really quiet otherwise. Because I was in the mountains of Virginia working a music festival. So I was completely, unplugged for the most part. Oh, it looks like Tearsa's coming.
Hey.
Hi. So I don't see you on video, but I do hear you. So that's awesome. Let's see.
All right, let's see if I can fix that.
Okay. And if we can't see you, I guess we could chat. Hi, Cammie. Tia's feeling awesome. Awesome.
Don't seem to be able to fix that.
Are you good to chat without video? Does that feel okay with you, or do you want to sign off and try again? Hi, Cammie.
I'm good either way. I'm sorry. I wish I had. I don't see how to get it back over.
Okay, totally up to you. You can either sign out and log back in, or we can just start chatting, and that way everyone can hear your beautiful
Let's just
voice.
Take off. I don't want anybody to have to wait.
Okay,
so,
awesome.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. We can see your picture, so that works. And I'll just go ahead and say this is a little bit of a teaser because all of you are going to see a lot more of Tearsha in this community, and we'll share more about that later, but she'll be coming in more frequently and sharing some of her gifts with everyone. So I'm super excited. Thank you so much for being here. And I would love just to start, I know that you're a spiritual mentor, an author, a teacher, and the founder of the Soul's Harmony. So I would love for you just maybe to start with sharing a little bit about your story and maybe how you found this community, this sisterhood here in the Goddess Collective, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, thank you for having me on, Leah. I really appreciate your love and your support. And I found you initially I found you on Facebook, and I saw your group, and I'm like, oh, she just moved here. She looks very interesting. And then we connected at the Holistic Chamber of Commerce. That's where I really got to know you a little better. And then my story is kind of it's a long one, so I won't take you all there. But I started doing some inner work, doing my self work. I was in this really nasty, ugly hole of a life back in, gosh, 08, I believe it was. And then in 2009, beginning in 2009, I thought, you know what? I gotta stop this. Nobody's gonna take care of me but me. So what am I gonna do? So I just began sitting in my space, praying, meditating, talking to myself, talking to God, talking to my body, and just life exploded every day. It just kept, everything got wonderful. I started doing self-healing. I didn't even know what self-healing was at that point. I began to learn very quickly, because every time I would go into my space and sit still, I'd walk away feeling so much lighter and so much more alive, and with a lot of clarity. And that's where my journey began. It's just going within and saying, this has got to get better, because it can't get any worse.
Right. And I love that you share that, because I feel like oftentimes that's kind of how some of that starts. For me, it was very similar. You have these moments where you feel broken, right? Where life feels really heavy, and sometimes you feel there's no way out, and then something is ignited, right? So I'd love to feel more into that. You shared about self-healing, and I know that's something that you felt was really important to talk about today: self-healing, energy healing, and specifically Meridian Enlightenment healing, which is something that you now share with the world. Do you want to go a little bit into detail about how you found or discovered that modality, what it is for people that aren't, familiar or aware, and anything around that?
Yes, thank you. The Meridian Enlightenment, I call it me, because it's me healing me. The energy healing modality was, it was birthed based on my experience when I was going through my initial challenges and going within and connecting with myself and my body. I started having these peculiar movements, and it started with a triangle with the index finger. I wish I was on video, I'm sorry, with the index fingers and the thumbs together, making this triangle. And the triangle would pull the negative energy from my body, from my space. And then my hands would come up above my head, and then the light energy and would replace it, the love. And that's what created my feeling better every time I would release the negativity, bring in the light and the love. And I thought, oh gosh, what is this? Because again, I didn't even have any idea what self-healing and energy healing was even about. So of course I had Google, like we all do, and I find something called Reiki. I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is what I'm doing. So I went and did level 1, and it felt totally different. And it was different, and actually completed my master in 2010. But then I started looking at and studying other modalities, and nothing seemed to fit. So once again, I went inside and I said, well, what is this? Which is where I should have learned by then. That's where all the answers are anyways, inside. And so I began asking, and I also channel. I hear spirit and I see spirit. And so I would ask, and I would automatically write what I heard. And then I would do the movements. And I began to notice particular movements depending on what area I was focusing on, whether I was focusing on some mental block, some emotional release that I wanted to do, or just clearing my spiritual space. Whatever I was working on, different movements with this triangle would occur. And so I started tracing the movements. And that's how the Meridian Enlightenment energy healing modality was birthed. I began healing on my own with it. And then I was told it's time to share it. So I do teach it online. I have a self-study course. I also have one on what date is it? Let's see. It's this month, August 27th. I have a live Zoom, is what it's going to be, a group Zoom course that I'm offering. And so it's basically 5 clearing techniques that you use. You connect with your spirit team, which is, your spirit team is a group of, they're on the other side, of course, the other side of the veil. They're in spirit, and you have one primary, which I like to refer to as your GP, your general practitioner, to be able to relate it to how we function in the human world. And then there's specialists. So when you are tuned to this energy, you are connected with your spirit team. And then as you request one of the 5, which is a general alignment of your body to your auric field, physical mental, emotional, and spiritual. That's the 5. So you request which one it is you'd like to work on. If there's something in particular that you're dealing with, maybe it's an argument that you had with someone, or you're trying to find some clarity on a job, or whatever, or you've got some physical ailment, maybe your shoulder's been killing you, whatever you're working with, you make that request. Your GP goes, okay, I'll call in the specialist that we need to heal that, to release those energies. And it's always at a level that you are available and would be healthy for you to release at that time. It may take one time, it may take multiple times. It depends on the depth of your attachment to that particular subject or physical pain. And that's how it works.
It's so interesting to me. And, I know I've expressed to you, I'm really excited to move through your course and learn more about this myself. How long would you say you've been working with this modality?
Gosh, unknowingly, I started working with it back in the beginning of 2009. It was probably around 20, gosh, I'm throwing it off the top of my head. I think it was around 2018 that I came to put the package together to get all the information and was told it's time to share it. So I believe 2018 was when I started teaching it locally. And then the online course came about. I believe I should know this stuff, huh? I believe it went live. The self-study course went live in 2020. And then, of course, it was the pandemic, so there's no teaching anywhere. So I went back to being online. And I have done a couple of in-persons now that we're all kind of free and out there again.
And I know you mentioned on the 27th, you'll be doing another virtual level 1 class. So we'll make sure that we tag everything here so everyone's here to learn more about it. I'm really curious, you mentioned that you can hear spirit, and I believe you also mentioned that you can see spirit. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? Like, when was the first time that you noticed that you were able to tap into these gifts, and how has it impacted your life being able to receive messages in such powerful ways?
Well, I started noticing it when I was very young. I was really young. I grew up in an older home back in Kentucky, and it had a portal down in my living room near our stove, and spirit would pass through there regularly, and sometimes they would linger. And so that's when I began to notice that I was seeing them, I was hearing them, and then I was really afraid. I was scared. There was no one in my life at the time that could explain to me or help me embrace these gifts. And so I got really scared and I shut it all off. And then actually, in my younger adult years, I would block it by self-medicating with drinking and things like that. And then once I began to do these clearings of, back in 2008, when I had all the tough times and came to a closure with putting up with all of that, I started sitting still, and that's when the clarity came. Because before that, I would hear the darkness. The dark entities were able to come into my space because I didn't know that I was allowed to tell them no. I didn't know that there was a way for me to set boundaries for myself spiritually and to hold my space and to become the light so that nothing dark could even come into my space. I had to learn that by going through my healing, my inner work. And so once I started doing my inner work, all the darkness backed up, and I'm like, this is what I've been hiding from my whole life. And now, forget it. They're scared of me now. It's the opposite. So, and then during that journey, when I started clearing my space and holding my space, I started doing a lot of journaling, channeling, automatic writing, and that's how I ended up writing both of my books and that I have published.
And it's a beautiful segue, because I would love to speak to, and I don't think we've covered it quite yet in one of these goddess chats, but automatic writing itself, because for me, that's how I'm able to channel as well, is through automatic writing. So you want to speak a little bit about like what that looks like and what automatic writing is for maybe someone watching that's not familiar?
Okay. I hear with my right ear. and I'll ask a question either verbally out loud or ask mentally, or sometimes I just take my pencil. I'll sit down, I'll get in a quiet space, take my pencil. I never use a pen. I don't know why. I like a pencil. And I'll sit down and I'll just write out whatever it is that my question is, or whatever is on my mind that I'm looking for answers for. And the thoughts flow through, and I just start writing what I hear. And then at times I let go. You may do this also. I'll let go, and the writing doesn't even look like mine. I don't even recognize the writing because and then when I get done, I pick it up and I read it, and the light goes off. The answer is there. The guidance is there. Everything that I'm looking for. And sometimes, a lot of times actually, even more things that I didn't even know that it was time for me to open up to.
I love that, because for me as well, I'm often surprised by what I'll read. So essentially, you know, anyone can do this. You can sit down with a journal and a pen or a pencil, and you just dump onto the paper. You just write without stopping. You don't think about it. You don't pick up the pen. You just write it all out. As you know, as Tearsha mentioned, you can start with a question, or you can just sit down and start writing. And it's really interesting if you just release control and try not to overthink and just allow it to flow, what can come through. And for myself, over the years, it would switch. And when I would go back and read, it was very obvious that it wasn't coming from a way that I would normally communicate. And then, you know, over the years, it then actually evolved for me into channeling and writing like the symbols of light language. So I find that as a really powerful way to start dropping just deeper into the messages we can receive and getting out of the mind a little bit and not overthinking. So I invite anyone listening, just like one time this week, grab a piece of paper and just sit with yourself and allow it to move through. So thank you for sharing that. And so you said that through that process of automatic writing, it then led you to writing your book. So do you want to talk a little bit about the books you've written and kind of what those messages are, for, you know, in case anyone wants to grab a copy and read it?
Yes, thank you. And you're right. Sometimes when I write things out, it's words I don't even use in common language. So that's another clue that it's not really coming from the head. And take the first of thought, because that's the truth. Once the brain gets involved, then it throws you off track when you start questioning. But back to your question, when I first started doing my automatic writing, I would wake up in the morning and I would just ask the question, you know, what is my lesson for today? And I did this, and then I would write. I'd automatic write whatever it is I heard. I would write it out on a piece of paper, and I did this for over a year. I missed a few days, but not many, and collected all of these handwritten notes. And then my mother actually had surgery and was in the hospital in Wilmington for 5 days. So I sat in a dark corner and typed all these notes up for 5 days on my computer. And then once I came home, I spread them all out on the floor, and then I listened and I said, what am I supposed to do with all of this? And I was told to share it. And so listening again, I pulled out 40, the ones that I categorized them. I pulled out the 40 that they told me that I was told that to share the meat of the stories. And that's how 40 Days to Soul Enlightenment was created, my very first book. And I published that back in 2015, I believe it was 2015. And then in 2016, I put together affirmation card deck that goes along with that to support you while you're working through that. Because you read, let's say you read day one. You read day one, and then you just become aware of how that shows up in your day. And you know, it's 40 days, but it may take 40 days, it may take 6 months. We're all on different journeys. We all process differently. We all have different levels and depths of releasing. So although it says 40 days, you know, just work through it at your own pace. When you're ready to move to the next one, into it, you'll know when it's time to move to the next day. So you'll read the first day, apply it, you know, be aware of it in your life. There's a journal page for each day. You can carry the card if you'd like as a reminder. You can work through it over and over. It's just, I love the stories. And then in 2017, I got this calling to write again. This one was wild and crazy for me. Well, what an experience. I would, and it only lasted for 3 weeks. I wrote this next book in 3 weeks. I barely slept, showered. I didn't speak to heart like no one. I just would write frantically. And then after I would write something, I would go back and read it, and I would laugh, I would cry, I would get chills. All these multiple emotions would happen for me, because as I was listening and writing, I learned at a depth that I don't even know a word that I can share with you that would explain the education that I got from Spirit surrounding all of these topics, and how to live in the human life and understand the spiritual life, and how the two come together in the journey that we're on here on this earth plane. And that book is called 40 Days to Soul Expansion. It's a workbook also. Each page, each day has journaling prompts and a worksheet that goes with it to support that.
I love that. I love the consistency of moving through something for a certain amount of time. I love weaving in, you know, something that's going to ignite the thinking and the feeling into you, and then put it into action, you know, with writing. So I love that both of, you know, what you've created allows you to really have an experience, you know, with it. And I do want to mention, I don't know if anyone in the comments can confirm, the sound went a little weird for me, but I'm actually using new headphones, so I was able to piece together what you said towards the end. But if anyone else had any sound issues, if you'll just drop in the comments and let me know, because I'm not sure if it's Tearsha or if it's my new headphones that I'm trying to use from the cell phone.
I keep hearing something go tick, tick, tick.
Okay.
Sure
and so maybe what we do, you know, with technology, in case things are getting a little weird, is if you want to mention your talks with Tearsha, because you keep hearing banging. and you know, and honestly, I find it really interesting that anytime I'm doing technological stuff, and especially with people that work very closely with Spirit, never fail. There's like audio or visual issues, because like the frequency messes up with this technology we're using. So it's almost just like, and I'm used to it. And so thank you for hanging with us. Vanessa said she can hear a little bit. But I do want to mention Spirit's knocking. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I know it is. Tammy says no sound issues, but hearing a banging noise. Weird. Okay. I'm not hearing the banging noise. Other people are. I'm hearing weird robotic stuff. Okay. Okay. Interesting. So I'll try to maybe hold my microphone like this, just in case it's my hair, my locks, in case I'm knocking the mic. Maybe it's me banging, and maybe it's just me with the audio. So that's good. Everyone else can hear, so that's good. I'll piece it together for the conversation. But Tearsha, I would love for you to share about the talks with Tearsha and what, you know, you're going to be sharing these Facebook Lives into the community, and just talk a little bit about that and what women can expect. I'm really excited to, you know, honor the medicine that you're here sharing with the world, to have you be able to share this wisdom and, you know, the downloads that are being shared with you to our community. So I'd love for you to touch on that a little bit.
All right, thank you. I do a weekly Facebook post on my site, which is the Soul's Harmony, and it's called Tuesdays with Tearsha. It's very brief. It's usually like 8 to 12 minutes long, and I just pick a different topic and just share my vision. I share my thoughts, what I've been taught by Spirit. I put it out there, and every week I put an action with it. And because it takes 3 things, and I've been saying this repeatedly for several weeks at the end of my Tuesdays with Tearsha, is it takes 3 things in order to create change in your life. And it's to visualize, use your spiritual eyes, not your physical eyes, and create the vision that you desire for yourself. You have to listen. You just have to listen with your heart, not with your head, because the head wants the mind, the ego mind, and the chatter gets involved. It's all over. That's where the lies begin. And then it's the most important thing, I believe, is to take action. Without a physical action, nothing's going to change. I have this Dr. Seuss thing that it sounds like Dr. Seuss. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So if we don't take a physical action, make a plan to change something, and even if it's just a little teeny tiny baby step, nothing's going to happen. So that's,
I love that.
My Tuesdays with Tearsha. You know, I posted at 5 every Tuesday.
At 5, okay. And so then she's going to share them right into the community. So just know that would be something consistent that's going to start happening. I believe we said we were going to start it starting in September. So that will be beautiful. And I'm really excited about
Thank
it.
you for opening
And I
space
love
for
the
me.
3 things that you mentioned, because, you know, I believe you're right. And I speak a lot about, you know, the masculine energy we can lean into and the feminine energy. And so there's a big piece with those first 2 of like the surrender and the trust and the receiving of the information versus trying to control what you're thinking. So really trusting what you're receiving, feeling into it, but then leaning into that masculine energy and taking that inspired action. And so I love that you touched on all of those. And I'm really excited to see the shifts that happen within this community, from, you know, being able to listen to you on Tuesdays and see how within that week we can start implementing these things. And then be able to, as a sisterhood, share on these and kind of what's coming up from, you know, for us. I would love if you know, could maybe touch on the shifts that you've noticed the most since working with these, you know, various healing modalities. I know you have a lot of courses, you have the books, but specifically with the ME healing modality, that, you know, that Meridian Enlightenment energy healing work that you do. What are the biggest shifts that you've noticed in your life, maybe physically, emotionally, spiritually, since working with this?
Personally, it's been unreal for me. I was in such a dark space. It was on all 4 quadrants for me. Mentally, I had been in an abusive, mentally abusive relationship that also was emotional. Spiritually, as I had shared with you, I began at a young age and seeing and sensing and with spirit coming into my space, and I did not control that in a happy way. I let the dark in. Physically, my belief is that when we don't deal with our mental, emotional, it manifests into physical. And at my breaking point, I had my neck was hurt, my arm was up over my head. I had to have surgery to get my arm down. I had been through some family tragic things had happened in my family. And I was in this deep, dark, nasty hole where I was on the floor and I was screaming and I was mad and I was yelling at God. I was mad at me and everybody in my life. And by using the me energy, again, unknowingly in the beginning until it developed, using the energy coming in and out of this triangle portal, it lifted all of that out and away from me and allowed me to become the new version of myself that I get to be today, which I became stronger. I peeled away. I learned how to set boundaries, and I found my self-worth. That put me in control of my life. That gave me my life back. And so I've healed on a physical level. I have massively healed on a spiritual level, and mentally, I mean, of course, mentally, I still have the brain chatter that goes through my head like we all do.
Yeah.
But I've learned how to recognize it, and I've learned how to stop it, and I've learned how to acknowledge it when I don't stop it. So awareness, it's about the awareness. Currently, I always say I have more blessings than a girl can even dream up. I've found the love of my life. It's just a beautiful life now. I'll be driving in the car and I notice I have this huge smile on my face, and I know it's because I get to be me. I finally get to be me. I've always, most of my adult life, I was something or someone for others, and now I get to be me, and I contribute that to the Meridian Enlightenment Me energy healing. That's what brought me to life.
Yes, I love that. I love that you brought up you smiling as you drive, because as you started talking about your blessings, I could tell through your voice that you were smiling, like especially when you were saying the love of your life when you were talking about him. But I could hear the smile, and it actually like brings me chills, because when we finally free ourselves of this unnecessary pressure to be all of these things that we aren't, and we allow ourselves the permission to just be who the fuck we are, actually, it is so awesome. And it's just this beautiful exhale and like sigh of relief of like, oh, like, yes, like I can be me. And through that,
freedom.
You end up, yes, exactly. And you end up connecting with the people that you're meant to connect with, the experiences, the places. It is so beautiful, Vanessa says. Yep, felt those love vibes. So beautiful. Yeah. You can feel the love coming through when you're talking, so it's really cute. I love that. So I love that. I think that's all so beautiful. Not only are you going to be coming in the Goddess Collective consistently on Tuesdays to share that chat with us, but we are actually co-facilitating this month's Grand Strand Goddess Gathering. So I'll go ahead and drop a few details on that because I haven't posted the Facebook page yet. It'll happen over the weekend. But save the date if you're in the Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach area, even one of those North Carolina beaches. It's not far of a drive. Wednesday, August 17th at 6:30. We're going to be back out on the beach at Nash Street Beach Access. So that's in the Myrtle Beach area down near Spring Main Pier. And Tearsha's going to be joining me as my special guest. She's going to be sharing with us her 4-step spirit guided healing. And I'll share more about the theme and like what we'll be, kind of moving through over the next couple of days. But I just wanted to make sure everyone knew that. And I would love if we, could, at this time, if you want to share how people can find you, how they can reach you, get your books, learn more about, the healing modalities that you offer and all of that.
Well, I will post that in the feed here when we are complete. I am at thesoulsharmony.com, and you can find everything about me. My books are all on there. They're also on Amazon. My coursework, it's my Damn Life program, which is a 3-step program. I have all my workbooks, everything's online at thesoulsharmony.com. If you'd like to email me, it's connect@thesoulsharmony. And I'm on Facebook, of course, The Soul's Harmony, and Instagram at The Soul's Harmony.
I love it. Keeping it easy. The Soul's Harmony.
Keep it all across. Yes.
Yes, that's where you can find it.
As part of, everyone listening in with us today, I wanted to make a little offering that I will post in there too, a little freebie, where if you're interested, you could get what I called your unique blueprint and activation call, where I'll put in there where you can, the link where our listeners, of course, can go in and book a call with me, and we'll talk through and some topics and set up I'll print out a blueprint for you and email that to you. And we'll do, if you're open to it, we'll do what's called a Magic Me activation. That is a done for you. It's you just choose one of the 5 Meridian Enlightenment Me energy techniques, and I'll do it for you. It's done for you.
I love that.
Yeah, I will put that in the feed. And I hope to see everybody on the 17th. That would be great.
Yes, absolutely. There's so much more Tearsha coming your way. And I would love at the end of every call, the way I like to, or every chat, the way I like to wrap it up is to pose this question to my guests. So I'm going to ask you, if you were to, or if you are to leave, the audience and those that'll come back and watch the recording with, one drop of wisdom, or just, really something that in this moment in time, right now in this sacred moment, what needs to be heard? What do you feel called to share with the sisters here in this community?
When you say drop, it threw me to my first book. I put a thing in there in the opening about how we are all a drop of God light, of source light, however each of us refer to the greater good a little differently sometimes. And I'd like to share the importance of clearing and cleaning the murk out of that light, as I learned to do. That's how you get in touch with yourself. That's how you go within, clear your space, get in your personal power, and become who you were truly meant to be in this lifetime, your true blueprint.
Yes, I got chills again. I love that.
Leah, I really appreciate you having me on here. Thank you so much for holding space, sharing space. Yes. Sorry about the no video. Me and technology.
Really beautiful. Same with me. There's always something that's going to happen. And at this point, I think the community knows that if I'm showing up on a Facebook Live or even a Zoom, something will happen.
Gosh,
so at least
I even combed my hair and everything.
Well, post a selfie in the comments, and then everyone will get to see your beautiful face. And then starting in September, you can tune in and you'll be able to see the talks with Tearsha. Please, check out her social media and her website, her books, all of the things. And if you're in the South Carolina, North Carolina area, want to join us in person, Wednesday, August 17th at 6:30 in Myrtle Beach, and you can look for the Facebook group. And at any point, you can click the events tab, both in this community and over on the Her Sacred Circle business page. Click events, it'll show you everything that's happening virtually or in person. And if you're interested in being a guest on a goddess chat, shoot me an email, hersacredcircle@gmail.com. Let me know a little bit about you and what medicine you're sharing with the world, and we'll work out a time to get you on here to chat. Tearsha, thank you. Thank you to everyone that joined us and everyone that watched the replay. Please feel free to ask questions in the comments. Tearsha can come back and answer. And yeah, as always, have an amazing day. So much love to you all. And until next time.
Thank you, Leah.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.